Hello everybody, my name is Christian Swenson and I do videos here on YouTube about autism, autistic consciousness, and life on the autism spectrum. And it's been too long, about 5 months, wouldn't you say? Where have I been in those 5 months? Let's play a game. Have I been here? Actually, I've been here, and that's where I've been. I've been right here for a lot of it anyway, you know. And but to give a real answer, I went on a belated honeymoon with my wife. Actually, detoxed from meds there. It kind of got me distracted, you know. Lots of things happened, but I'm back, and I'm sad that I was gone now because I've looked back at your comments and they're so kind, and I didn't realize how much I meant to at least some of you. And that means a lot to me. And I want to fulfill my end of the bargain. And I want to do what I can to help you and to help me and to have us help each other together. I would really like that. Autism is a hard mind space to be in. Let's be honest about that. There are joyful parts, but there are also less joyful parts. And I want us to feel real joy. I want us to feel the full range of life. I feel like you want that too. I feel like everything that a human being experiences is something we ought to experience. In one way or another, we ought to have the full gamut of human life, as much as we can. And we might have to do roundabout ways to get those things. We might have to try harder, might have to take more naps. But we can do it. You and me. So, I've been thinking a lot about neurodiversity lately. And that's really the topic of today's video, is neurodiversity and neurocontinuity. Let me actually write that word for you, because I think it's important. It's a word I came up with, and I think it's a very important addition to a conversation we are having about different kinds of minds, different kinds of brains. Let's talk about continuity. What does that mean? Well, you know, if there's calculus, let's think about calculus for a little bit, right? Here's a function. You know, it's like this function is not continuous. You know, let me get out. This function is not continuous. You know, since what this does is there are rigorous ways to define it that I won't get into, but you can see there's a gap there. There is no way in which the function, the slope of the function is I don't know. It's been so long, right? But you get the idea. That's not continuous. That's discrete, and the opposite of continuous is this word, discrete. And I get the feeling that neurodiversity is all about discrete things. I'm autistic, and you will never know what it's like to be me because you can never be inside my head. Well, is that true? I don't think it is. I mean, you'll never know what's in my head right now. Well, you might have an idea if you see where I'm looking and what I'm about to say when I do open my mouth, and maybe when I choose to speak and when I don't. You can actually get a pretty good idea of what's in my head. I think it's a lie to say that we have no access to the insides of people, especially when we read their writings. You can do all sorts of things with that when you're reading someone's writing, but that's not really the point. My point is that this and neurodiversity, full stop, without qualification, is a kind of loneliness, isn't it? I mean, there's good things about it, for sure. There are many important, needed things about neurodiversity. But it kind of makes you feel like on the outside of things, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm autistic, and I feel proud of being autistic. And you over there, you NTs, with your socialization and your metaphors and your body language and your inside jokes and your eye contact, you're so weird. I hate you. And really what you're doing is you're just mirroring back the bullying to kind of feel vindicated. Is that a good thing? I mean, maybe temporarily, but no, I don't think it is. Because they're doing what they know how to do. I mean, they're bullies for sure, and that's inappropriate, but, you know, body language is important for so many people. You know, this nonverbal communication is a joy. I've experienced at least some of it. And I feel like we are selling ourselves and our potentials short if we insist that I'm going to be proud of how abnormal I am. Not because abnormality is a problem, but because pride in abnormality is a problem, I would say. Because I don't think we should be thinking in terms of norms at all. That's what I mean. Norms are abnormal. That's kind of my point with continuity. This is like the NT in a sense, and this is the autistic. There's a gap. But what if it were continuous? What if there actually were, something that, even if we're here and they're there was a feeling of like, oh wait, this thing in me, that looks like that thing in you, even though they're different, they look similar. It's like sometimes when you look at plants at different stages of development, you're like, oh, that thing is like that thing, right? You look at the reproductive systems of both sexes, you're like, oh, that thing, that thing, it looks like that thing, right? Because they actually were the same organ in the fetus, right? And it's something like that. I feel like with our focus on uniqueness, and not even uniqueness, our focus on the differences of groups, we forget that these groups, even if they can't be hodgepodge into a meta-category, there's something even more essential that we're missing. We're missing that they're all responding, all of us are human, and are responding to human needs, and have human needs, and have human feelings, and have human thoughts that are different depending on the context. So I would really encourage all of us, including myself, to start thinking really seriously, not in terms of what sets me apart from the neurotypical person, but without even trying to change, without masking. What is like me in her? What is like her in me? If she's doing small talk, don't just say, oh, small talk's stupid, I hate small talk. Maybe just ask yourself, why is she doing that? Think what is she trying to do? And you think then, wait a minute, the words don't matter, do they? The words don't matter. It's a gesture. It's a showing that I'm safe and that I'm not going to go too fast. And you do that too. You get scared probably of people coming too fast. Same deal. They're different, but they're continuous, aren't they? Isn't that nice? I feel like inadvertently as autistic people we cut ourselves off from the rest of life in pursuit of some weird Superman complex sometimes. Or maybe that's just me, but I've seen it elsewhere on the internet. At the very least, though, there seems to be this weird chauvinism that can happen. I've seen on Quora people talking about, like, in response to, can autism be cured? And then someone's like, oh, you're so stupid, neurotypical people should be cured. It's like, do you really want to say that? That's not a kind thing to say. You don't want to turn it around to people, because that means there's lots of hatred. We don't want hatred. Hatred's draining, and hatred's just mean. People won't like you, and you won't like yourself if you hate that much. So don't hate. Love people. Love the people and be curious about them. It's like, oh, I don't understand, but I can try. I'm not going to change to be like you, but I'm going to try to understand you. And not even just neurotypical people. What about other mental illnesses? Other disabilities? Other ways of being? What about highly sensitive people? People with ADHD? People with schizophrenia? What about people with borderline? People with bipolar? What about people with Down syndrome? All of those things. Can you put yourself in their shoes? Can you see the continuity? I would like us to. I would like us to feel ourselves as if we weren't ourselves. And there's a joy in that, isn't there? There's a joy in feeling like I could have just as easily been someone else. And what a joy that I am the person that I am. Isn't that a wonderful mystery? And it is a wonderful mystery. It's magic. It's something to be grateful for. Because your life might be awful. And it, honestly, there's a high likelihood it is in many ways. But not in every way. You're alive, if you're listening to me. Your heart's beating. And you have experienced joy at some point in your life. I trust that you have. If not, I'm sorry. And I hope this has meant something to you at least. Let's try to see the joys that we have in common. Let's try to see what lives in you what lives in him, what lives in her, what lives in me, and see, oh, that's the same thing, isn't it? It grows in different ways. We're like a tree, aren't we? Like a tree, and we all have a common root. You know, your nervous system looks like a tree. Your brain can look like a tree. And maybe we're all part of the same tree. Wouldn't it be nice to feel a part of that tree? And we could feel that in our autism, we're a crucial part of that tree. Not the next species, not an alien, but a crucial part of the ecosystem. Wouldn't that be nice? To feel needed. To feel like we're fulfilling a role. And maybe people won't see that, but you can see that. And you can show people that. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, that's it for me. My name is Christian Swenson, and I'll be back. I'll be back a lot more. I really do appreciate all of you, and I want to grow together with you. I want to keep helping you. You've really liked the body videos. I want to keep doing that. So take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.